Hi, and we're recording. So one of the areas that I think is one most underutilized among real estate agents, and there are a lot of areas of getting leads that are underutilized, is the area of business to business referrals, sometimes called referral partners, sometimes called vendor lists. And I'm going to start with something really basic that I think everyone could do. And it's known as the Operation Donut Drop, which is a basic idea where you get a box of donuts and you get some personal brochures, some service brochures, business cards, and you go into a bank, ask to talk to the person in charge of loans. Sometimes they move around and you have to find out when they're going to be where. Sometimes they're not there all the time. And you show up with a box of donuts and your personal services brochure and some business cards, and you ask to talk to the person in charge of the loans and ask them. Now, what I used to do is I would go through this thing where I would say, hi, my name's Mike. I'm with Keller Williams. I was someplace else then, but it doesn't matter. I know you guys work really hard, and a little bit of sugar might help you make it through the day. Does the office have like a policy against people bringing in donuts or food? I don't want to get anyone in trouble, at which point they're generally reassuring you that bringing in donuts and other food is perfectly acceptable behavior. They're happy to see you. I would then say, you got any exciting loan products, anything new that's come out, anything that you're really proud of that I ought to know about? They'll then talk. You've just asked a salesperson to describe a product. They're going to talk. And then after you talk to them for a little while, you say, gee, you must run across, first of all, after they're done explaining their loans, you say, wonderful, that sounds fantastic. I'm sure I'm going to have some clients that are going to need a loan just like that. I'll be sure to refer them to you. By the way, do you happen to run across people that are interested in buying a house? You're helping them get a loan, and they don't have a real estate agent. Perhaps we could work together. Simple. One of the people that I've coached was, and I've had this happen several times, so it isn't necessarily shocking to me, but they were scared of going into the loan office. Now, I'm telling you, a real estate agent showing up at a bank to talk to a real estate loan person with donuts is pretty difficult for this to turn ugly, right? It's hard for this to go wrong. And I've had, there's another agent that I was coaching who didn't like donuts because they're not healthy. She asked me if she could bake cookies instead. The answer is, why not? You understand you could bring apples, bananas, you could have a fruit bowl. That's not that important. I found that many people in the lending business prefer donuts. If you've seen enough of them, you
Ex-policeman.
yes, they would. It's like the sign. There's a donut shop next to the police, and it said location, location, location. Right. So this, by the way, I would recommend that you do this 2 or 3 times a week. And the lady that was doing the cookies, where and I say we because I'm coaching her, which means I get paid too. We are in escrow. One of the loan agents talked to her for an hour, gave her 4 referrals, showed them property. We're in escrow. Now, this to me sounds like more fun than door knocking, cold calling, or doing a lot of other things. You buy, just have to be careful not to eat too many of the donuts. Now, that's what I would consider to be level 1, right? If you want to break into this without a lot of rejection, this is the place to go, because they're generally going to be happy to see you. They're going to want to talk to you. They're going to want to exchange business cards. The lady that was scared to do it, who did it today, they want to have lunch. The loan agent wants to have lunch, coffee. This is really easy. Level 2, we're sort of going from easy to more difficult. Now, the reason I'd like you to start with this one is because it's easy, it's not difficult, they might ask you if you're a new agent, right? Some people that are new are worried that they're going to be asked, how long have you been in real estate? The loan agents are asking mostly because they're curious, not because they care. All right, you understand? They don't care. As long as they get the loan, and they actually sometimes are more interested in meeting new people because used agents may already have a loan agent that they work with and are tied to, wedded to. A lot of them are looking for the new ones that
the old ones are so bitter and complacent that some new blood is actually welcome.
Yes. For those who didn't hear that, the suggestion was that some of the older agents are bitter and complacent. I find that hard to believe. So as we are moving up, let's move to level number 2. And level number 2 involved using technology, although you don't have to. And the technology that it is using is something called HomeKeeper. And you don't have to use HomeKeeper, but I didn't take screenshots of my phone. I'm going to show you how to do it. HomeKeeper, and notice the spelling Keepr. First of all, I'm pulling up some websites. This is an Inman News article from last year, and this is what HomeKeeper looks like. And Keller Williams agents can now share vendors through search app. Really? So many of you, some people I meet don't even know that Keller Williams agents have a mobile app, or how to download the mobile app, or how to share the mobile app. That, by the way, is another class. In addition to having the mobile app, we can connect the mobile app to something called HomeKeeper. And here you can see is a picture. HomeKeeper was speaking at a couple of the conventions and things like that I go to. So notice the branding. Notice the branding on the HomeKeeper app. It says brought to you by your name there. It's got the logo. It's got your picture. It's got a call, email, refer to a friend. And then notice the bottom part says your vendors are here. And so I don't mean to just read this to you, but I'm sure that most of you will not have read. So it explains that this is a home vendor recommendation app. And by the way, you guys could probably find this on your own. Let me go back one step. So here's what HomeKeeper.
So you need that on your mobile phone?
You can download it. So I'm going to just go through that process. So if you click on HomeKeeper, and you'll notice that picture looked a lot like, so homeowners, notice it says Real Estate Pro. So I'm going through how do you sign up. And you click on here, and then it's going to, notice it says start your free month, but you're going to go to sign in, and you're going to put in your email address, and the email address would be the one that you've registered with Keller Williams. And I, for example, have done that. And when we click on log in, and so you do not have to pay by month to have access to the HomeKeeper app. It's something that has been done through Keller Williams. And you're going to fill out this form. Notice it's asked for your mobile app text code. Now, for those of you who don't know, anybody here not know what their mobile app text code is, and or how to find it? You realize you're supposed to have it tattooed someplace, visible. So this is connected to the mobile app. So I'm going to log into kw.com, and I have a whole bunch of logins to kw.com. Let's see, is this one for me? Okay. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. And someday I'll fix it, but not today. And ignore this time. One of my Google accounts, which is connected to this, is the same thing. All right. So now that we're here, if you go to, how about technology and mobile app resources? And you scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. It says view your mobile download web address. Click on that. And what's going to happen eventually given the internet speed. This is going to pop up, and by the way, this is your mobile app download URL, and this is your code to your own personal branded mobile app. And what you're going to do is copy that code and then go back to wherever I had HomeKeeper open, and you're going to want to put that code in there. And what that means is that the HomeKeeper button will appear with your mobile app on cell phones when you share it. And you fill out your company information and your association of realtors. Now, the reason why that's sort of important is because, first of all, the question people oftentimes ask me, let me make sure I'm clear as to what this app does. Let's say you're a home buyer or a homeowner. I could say to you, I have a list of preferred vendors for a whole bunch of different things: plumbing, electrical, painting, you name it, piano movers, everything. And it goes with my mobile app. And so if you've ever had a client say, I wonder how much it would cost to fix the plumbing, what would it mean to upgrade the electrical system? And you'd want to have more than one electrician and one plumber, right? And so this app would have a complete list. Now, it also, when people have it, it'll give them reminders during different seasons and different times of years of home maintenance things that they ought to do. And it's branded to you. It also allows you to send everybody an email through the HomeKeeper app. So for clients and things like that, you could text them through this app. I wouldn't overdo that, by the way, if I were you. And so that would be a valuable thing, right? This is a home maintenance, home tips. And by the way, those of you that have ever watched me do this, people are always saying, how do I learn how to do something home, K-E-E-P-R. And if you click on videos, one of the things you're going to find is some of them are from a Keller Williams event. And so here are, did I misspell it? K-E-E-P-R. So show.
KW Reno.
Yeah, I didn't see. Anyhow, there's one here. So if we actually go to search tools and we pick one that's a little bit longer than a couple of minutes, New Jersey HomeKeeper program, that may not be the right one. Let's see, what are they doing? K-E-E, this is what I did wrong. I did that on purpose so that you would know that we just want it to be K-E-E-P-R, and we want it all together. And notice HomeKeeper Keller Williams actually shows up, and you can read all about it and learn more about it, right? So here's a Mega Camp Cultural Summit, started with HomeKeeper, Metro, anyhow. And what you'll find if you go through some of these videos is individual agents using the HomeKeeper app. So back to, why did they ask me what my association is, and what is the number one question? I could ask our large audience, what do you think the number one question real estate agents ask me when I tell them about apps with vendor lists? That's right. How do I find vendors to put in my HomeKeeper app? Right?
What is your B2B?
Well, that's, see, you're way beyond that.
Yeah.
One of the things you'll find is that HomeKeeper has already made a deal with your association of realtors and probably with the office. So I have multiple citizenship, right? Dual citizenship. And the other office that I'm affiliated with is not, in my opinion, it's a startup. Let's just put it that way. It's a startup, and their vendor list appeared in HomeKeeper. Plus, what HomeKeeper did when I activated it, it first found my association of realtors and asked if I wanted to import that list. I said yes. It then found my office and asked if I wanted to import that list. I said yes. And in 5 minutes, I had 293 vendors in my HomeKeeper app. The other thing about this that's cool is you take a business card that somebody gives you, you take a picture of the business card in the HomeKeeper app, HomeKeeper will read the business card and import it directly into the vendor list. There's a video of an agent, it's a great story. She's driving her car into a subdivision, and next to her pulls up a great big truck. And on the side of the truck, it was about a piano moving service. It had their web address and their phone number. Out of her car, she takes a picture of the side of the truck. Homekeeper reads what's on it, puts it into her database. She now has a piano moving service. But that, by the way, misses the fun part of this. And what I'm going to do for all of you that are here is, see, I'll upload this list that I have. And so what I start with, and let me see if I can make this bigger, is I've written some scripts. And I'm going to make this 200% C. That's probably too much. How about this? I'm going to make it page width. All right. Now, I don't know why this starts with script number 3. Script number 1 is a script for initiating a vendor referral program. If all you do is upload lists from the website of the board or from your office, you're missing the big part of having Homekeeper, which is not just to be of service and provide people with names of vendors, but to find a vendor referral partnership. So if you were, I have a list for those of you that have trouble thinking of these things, but let's say I were to call a plumber and I say, hi, this is Mike Dillon, Keller Williams Realty. I was making a list of the best businesses, services, and products in the area for all our new customers, and your business company practice came to mind. I was calling to see if you were accepting new customers, and would it be okay if I referred clients to you? This, by the way, is for most people on the other end a good beginning to a phone call. And what would be the best way to refer your business to you? Email, phone, website? Cool. The only thing that I ask is that if you get a customer that I referred, could you just let me know so I know my efforts have been working? Two-way communication. Since I have you on the phone, do you have two? Notice it says 2 people that refer real estate related business in questions to. 2. Now, why 2? Well, if we say, do you have 1, there's a good chance they may say yes, right? Should you as a real estate agent have more than 1 plumber, 1 electrician, 1 property inspector, 1 lender, 1 home warranty? Should they have more than 1 too? Probably. Is it possible that the agent that they've been referring business to is busy, not around, doesn't get along with the people? Maybe. It's whatever, right? Illness. Since much like you, I'm always looking to build new relationships and find new customers as well. If I am someone that you would feel comfortable referring business to, I'd propose that we work together to generate business. You might be impressed by the marketing their company does and how it could help your business as well. Maybe we could talk later in person or on the phone about some joint marketing ideas. Simple script. Another one, I'm in the business of creating a list of preferred businesses and service providers. This particular one I wrote before I put it on before the app was out, but you could work that in. Since I frequently have clients asking me for a good plumber, I'm looking for a trusted professional plumber to refer them to. I've heard good things about your company, Yelp. You could go through Yelp to find people that are somewhat vetted. They've got 5 stars. They've got good reviews. Would you and your business be interested in being included? Do they want to be on your preferred vendor list? Now, back in the day, this isn't a secret necessarily. I spent 25 years at Century 21. I was in my office. I found some of my old business cards. People were making fun of me. Brandy, I think, is on the line. She was making fun of me. She was making fun of my business cards. Yeah. And one of the little symbol, by the way, which Patrick asked me, what does that little symbol mean? And the little symbol meant, it's called the Centurion Award, which meant that I was in the top 2% of the United States in the Century 21 system. Right? And I had something, because we were gold. We had gold jackets. They're actually more like mustard. I called mine the Gold Client Appreciation Club. That's what I called it. And what I would do is I would not only find vendors, I'd find people that would have coupons, discounts, a coupon for a cleaning service, a coupon for painting, anything. And I made a list, and I had a website. And on my website, people that were willing to market with me, I would have on my website a list of all the preferred vendors. And I would let them buy advertising. If they wanted to pay for an ad, they could buy an advertisement. And so the idea of developing referral relationships, and we'll go through the list. I like to establish these professional referral relationships, help just grow each other's business as well. So if I were to refer clients to you, would you be willing to refer your clients that are looking to buy or sell to me with the assurance I'll provide them with a high level of customer service that you expect? Now, at some point, you have to actually ask that question. And if they say, no, I'm not going to refer people to you. I have a cousin in the business. My mother's a real estate agent. I have a brother. Then call another electrician, plumber, or whatever. And so by the way, I would make an appointment to go see them. I would show them the Homekeeper app. Now, by the way, this sort of assumes that you've downloaded your own mobile app from Keller Williams, that you've downloaded the Homekeeper app. If you're unsure about how to use either of those things, there are videos. Then there's a script for following up. I just gave your contact information to some clients of mine that need a piano moving service. Would it be okay if I gave you their contact information so that you could reach out to them as well? They're going to like to hear this. So this is also from the Bold Law, coming from contribution. Once you've referred people to them, you want to follow up, make sure that they got them, that they knew it came from you. And then COI is like SOI, it's center of influence as opposed to sphere of influence. And this is something that you could use. I'm attempting to enhance the customer service I provide by expanding the list of trusted professionals and business vendors I'd recommend. So whether it be a financial planner or moving up the food chain, auto mechanic, or anyone that has done work around your home, do you happen to know anyone that did a great job that I could recommend more businesses to? Now, what this is another touch for talking to the people you already know. So I'm not calling the people I already know to say, hey, I'm hungry, my kids need work on orthodontic work, and I don't have any money, and I need to close more real estate transactions. I'm calling to say I'm putting together a preferred vendor list. I used to have people would call me or mail or leave me voice messages recommending people to be in my Gold Client Appreciation Club. And that, by the way, when your sphere of influence is calling you and recommending people and thinking about it, we've created a communication. Great. Would you mind if I mentioned that you referred me when I reach out to them? And one last question, if you're to run anyone looking to buy or sell real estate, would you be willing to refer them to me? We might as well ask. We've got them on the phone. So here are some lists. Accountants, alarm, home security companies, appraisers. Why not? Right? Some appraisers are even real estate agents, appliance stores, architects, asbestos mitigation, attorneys, and I went through the list. Now, as we're moving up, and the reason I almost always recommend you start with lenders because they're going to be friendly and happy to see you. They're also not going to be particularly fussy about who they refer people to. You're there, they might say, sure, here, why don't you talk to them? They're already doing the loan. Attorneys, I was having this conversation yesterday. If you're talking to a probate attorney, the probate attorney might ask, how many probate sales have you done? And if your answer is, this will be my first one, then you're probably not going to get the attorney to refer business to you. However, so then I was asked, well, how do you learn about probate if nobody will refer business? You have to represent a buyer buying one. Right, and then now you know how you could say yes. So, but divorce attorneys, family attorneys. By the way, one of the agents that I coached in a different market center, not one of the 3 that I'm working at right now, she got frustrated. What? Who's counting? I try to keep track of how many. One of the problems that she had is there's this group called BNI, and then there's late tip. And these are like paid for networking groups. So this, I'm now moving this, by the way, to a little higher level because we're at attorneys. So the bottom line, you have donuts, apples, bananas, I don't care. Go talk to loan agents. A click up is everybody that a homeowner, home buyer might want or need as a service. A click up from that are people like certified financial planners, CPAs, attorneys, and a sort of another click. Now, what she was finding is BNI, which is a Business Networking International, is expensive and late tip, not cheap. And if you call these organizations, you're going to find that they're lousy with real estate agents, right? They generally are going to say, we already have a real estate agent. There's a waiting list for real estate agents. So the idea was, why do you understand what the structure of BNI is?
And many of them fail.
And many of them fail.
Yeah.
So what the structure of a BNI or late tip is for a hefty fee, and they were meeting at our office. So the late tip group was meeting at Denny's. So what this agent did is that she arranged a weekly breakfast with a group of people she reached out to. She created her own networking group of attorneys, of financial planners, her own group. Now, she had some experience. I should point out she went through my real estate school. But anyhow, she had some experience. And it took almost a year for it to start to kick in. But what started to happen is at the team meetings, it's any new listings coming up, she's raising her hand, raising her hand. Where did you get it from? I got it from my networking, got it from my networking group, got it from my networking group. So this doesn't have to be a formally structured thing. If you had coffee with people, if you had breakfast with people, but you might find that the insurance person and the financial planner and the attorney, they might like to meet everyone else, right? Because they're all in that same business. So you could start your own networking group. I, by the way, was not fussy about who was in the Gold Client Appreciation Club. There was a pizza place, there was a tire company, there was a dentist, a chiropractor. If it was more than fogging a mirror, if they could write a check, and the check wouldn't bounce. And by the way, related to this is if you find people that are working, let's say you're working in a particular geographic area. I went up and down, I was working in a particular area in San Jose, and I went up and down the area around it. There's two major streets filled with shops, and I would go into all of them, and I'd have a copy of my Gold Client Appreciation brochure that I was giving to people. I had a map that showed where I targeted. I would point it out to them, and I would say, this is the area that I specialize in. This is the area that I market to. Are these people in your target too? Are they in your sites? And they'd all look at it and say, yeah, those are people around my restaurant. They're around the tire, yes. Great, maybe we could work together. And there was a time I did a class called How to Farm for Free, right? And the reality, it was never free. But the idea is that in a letter, envelope, number 10 envelope, you can put in 3 two-sided pieces of paper, and it's still just one stamp. So I could have a page for me. I could have 2 other pages for my referral partners, a loan agent, a chiropractor, who cares? And now we're splitting the cost of marketing to the same area. You, by the way, can do the same thing with something called Every Door Direct Mail, which is done by carrier routes. You take one side, get a vendor to take the other side. Right. I like, obviously, the stuff that Sean talks about. He was talking about it today, getting referral partners to pay also. People would ask me, how did I pick the insurance person? Most insurance agents have a database of 600 or more people, homeowners in the area. Will they market to them? I'll market, right? You understand? I wanted them to do stuff too. Babysitters, banks, builders, cabinet carpenters, carpet cleaners, chimney cleaning, chiropractor. I was not necessarily fussy. So anyhow, I put together a short list for people that have trouble coming up with a list. I think this is like a a different one that I had done at one point. That one is a lot shorter. But this list with the scripts, I would give you, for not too much.
First hand.
And just for showing up.
Can I share something?
Please share.
With you in the class?
Yeah.
This literally just came up over my phone at 2:17. This is my accountant who I've never taken a lunch up until 3 weeks ago. Told him very explicitly when we were at lunch why I was taking him to lunch, to see if we could build each other's business, et cetera, et cetera. So I dropped off my tax paperwork this morning.
Uh-huh.
You might want to share that with the class. He's already thinking of me. Now, do you think that I might be able to get some business out of that?
So for those of you, who didn't quite make it, if you didn't hear everything that Dina was saying, he took an accountant to lunch.
Mm-hmm.
He told the accountant why he was taking him to lunch. Right? It depends on the personality style. Some people, it's really easy to be direct about those things.
Yeah.
And we're going to build each other's business.
It's tax time, so we only had X amount of time.
Tax time, so I usually waited a little bit after tax time, just because I knew that they would be, kind of here, let me see if I can just make sure I find this. PS assistance, Dropbox, item type. And there we go. So I've uploaded my script. We apologize that an error has occurred. Please try again. Now that's just the way life is. Sometimes, it's please try again. And I know Jay wants me to help him, but I will in a moment. All right, so here's the vendor scripts. So the email, he says, thanks for dropping off, confirming receipt. I had, Danny do this one. Yeah. Question 2 for you. Do you perform real estate comp services? I have a few clients with parents that have passed away and we need some valuations for the residences. We typically use a real estate agent to put together a comp list of recently sold homes to make a determination of value. Let me know if you perform those services or want to get into it. I typically see fees for this range from $300 to $750. And
so, but the point is, that's not necessarily the business I want to go into, but I could certainly see where I could leverage that.
For some, I can tell you that for some of my people online, $350 to $700 would be considered a improvement. And the thing is that if you help them with that, there's going to be more, right? And sometimes,
or what if they're getting the valuation to make a decision to sell?
Right.
And then you just say, you know what? If you decide to sell with me, I'll refund the whole thing 100%.
Right.
To continue the dialogue.
Right.
Something like that.
So it's about business and people it's about building relationships, and people that are in that line of work have a flow of people. I worked with a CPA and people would call me up. He'd refer people to me and he'd say, well, Mick says I need to buy something for tax purposes. He says that I really ought to invest in real estate. Mm-hmm. And I refer people to him and he was referring people to me. Right. That's the way it's supposed to go. So are there any questions from the online group? Don't everybody yell out a question at once. I see Brandy has a question. No, that's not a question, Brandy, but that's fine. And so I've uploaded that vendor list. Does that seem like something you guys could do? Yes. Yeah.
Pretty easy.
It seems pretty easy, and I personally think this is a better business to get into than cold calling, expired by owners, for sale by owners. Yeah. And I liked one of the things that Sean talked about today that I liked that I would reiterate is pick something like this and do it for 90 days, mm-hmm. right? And see if you get it. The agent that was doing Operation Donut Drop or Cookie Drop went to 2 banks, got 4 leads, and I just got today, I really like to see this, a copy of the commission demand, which I am part of for coaching her and coming up with it. Just thought and so, and she's happy because she's getting paid, and I'm happy. I'm happy too. I'm happy I'm getting paid. All right, was that good enough for you guys? That's it. Talk to you guys later.